Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the My Love of Golf podcast. Well, it's a week and counting. Yes, the countdown is on. It's a week until the My Love of Golf podcast staff meeting becomes official. It's the first time that the three of us will be getting together ever. It might surprise you to know that this podcast exists by the power of Zoom, and Magic Mike and the Rocket Man have never officially met. I know it's crazy to think that with the magnetism and the fire that happens between the three of us, but the guys have never met, so it's going to be awesome. Rocket's going home to Tassie. The aircraft water cannons are being prepared as we speak. Rocket ticker tape parade's probably going to happen. She's probably going to surprise Rocket with a lifetime supply of biscuits for the top end of Tasmania. But I can't wait to see both of the guys. But tonight's podcast, Rocket is tied up in Brisbane because he's got other commitments. This episode is not brought to you by the NBN. I'm sitting here doing this on the phone, the power of Zoom on the phone, because the internet down here at My Love Golf headquarters is not working. But I've still got Magic Mike on the other end, and we've got an exciting show planned. We're going to just cover off last week's golf, some exciting stuff which Mike knows all about. But we'll have a deep dive into the Dell match play, which is happening this week, and a few other bits and bobs, a couple of bits of pieces of golf that's happened at my end, maybe Mike's end. So let's get stuck in. Magic Mike, good evening. How are you?
I'm excellent, mate. In the intro, the biggest thing for people to know, it's very similar to the US president and vice president. They can't be on the same plane at the same time. It's very similar with Rocket and myself. Very similar.
The mile of we've got. Does that mean we've got Barnbougle booked out? And Nick Smith, Hot Glue CEO, is the official security detail. He's the Secret Service.
If he turns up in mirrored sunglasses, I'm going to be nervous.
Oh, he doesn't roll in any other way, does he?
No, he'll be in the Ray-Bans or the somethings for sure.
Look, I'm very much looking forward to this. It's been a long while in discussion. Pretty much short-term planning to put into action. The meeting of the schedules has come together. Rocket got leave from the home office, and you, Mike, well, you are a man of golf. You have golf will travel. Myself, it's a nice little anniversary. 1 year of being the first time to Barnbougle, so I'm great to be able to say that I'll be 2 times Barnbougle debutant. Can't wait to get back down there. Just started thinking about it this week. Had a game of golf yesterday with some chaps who travel seem to spend their life traveling the globe for golf, to gents from Cape Cod, USA, down at Peninsula Kingswood. And one was going to Barnbougle this week. The other one was going up to Elliston. Lovely. And the amount of golf that they've just experienced all around the world was unbelievable. So it just whetted my appetite for golf travel once again. Also, can't stop thinking about going to Scotland. And I never really ever think about holidays and trips until, and I know this is easy to say and people sort of roll their eyes, but I've always been that busy with work and whatever and focused on that I never really allow myself, that whole getting excited about a trip. Things are different this year, for obvious reasons, and I just can't stop thinking about going to Scotland. Just as we were coming on there, I'm on the phone, so there's no internet. And here in Mount Eliza, I don't know what's going on at my place. Something's gone wrong. We're on the phone, and a message popped up, and it was someone about St Patrick's Links up there at Rossco saying, it was Frank Casey Jr. saying, if you're coming over, make sure you put us on the list. And oh, jeepers, just think about getting to Donegal and playing at St Patrick's Links is exciting. But first, we've got a project and a job to do, and a team meeting to have down at Barnbougle. What are you looking for next week out of the team meeting, Mike? Let's talk about Barnbougle for a second.
Yeah, look, I've been blessed in the last, I'll say the last 8 years since I've been with my wife. We've been married for 6, coming up 7. So I've been more than that, actually. It'd be 10 years we've been together. So my math is already poor. That she's knew what she was getting into when we met. So when our honeymoon was New Zealand, and I had my clubs with me, and I was playing Jack's Point, and so she's very, very good. She's a very good golf widow. So this is I don't know, without being silly, I think this is probably about the 8th or 9th time I've been there, maybe 8th time I've been to Barney. And when you say, what am I looking forward to? Like, I'm still so much looking forward to it. Like, I'm so excited to go. I can't wait. There's so many things, so many holes that I sit there and reminisce about. And I know each hole and the layout so well that I know exactly what I'm already thinking about. I'm praying the weather's going to be okay. Probably the biggest thing this time around is just Boogle Run. Like, obviously we haven't seen it. So I'm really excited to see what it's like. I'm excited to probably hit a few off the hosel, which I have been doing with the short clubs lately. But just have a bit of fun and really like that. For me, golf is the best part of golf for me. Like, I love playing golf. I love playing competition golf and getting my handicap down and stuff. But, gee, I'm excited to go out and play a short course, maybe even with a beer and maybe a couple of clubs and not the full set. That for me is what I'm thoroughly looking forward to.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty much 90% the same. I won't be playing with the beer. That might mean
you can carry me a beer. You can carry a second beer.
I'm just going to say that might mean I have to carry your beer, which ain't so bad. But I will be packing something that's a little bit different for me from the trip for last year, which, in my newfound, excitement for taking golf photos, which is a little bit of a passion project. I've equipped myself with the latest equipment.
Everything.
And the latest equipment.
Unofficially sponsored by Sony.
Yeah, your mate. I'm still filthy at your mate for never coming through. But anyway, I'm looking forward to looking at the landscape through the lens, a proper lens, and not just the Samsung. Nothing wrong with the Samsung lens that we took photos on last year, but just looking forward to seeing what some of this equipment that I've got here can do, and seeing the short course. Obviously, Boogle Run was a week short of opening when we were there last time. Didn't get up there. I think it was good that we didn't go and have a look because now it's something new to go back to. Looking forward to that, and just hanging out with yourself and Rocket for that first time. I think it's going to be pretty special to get the three of us together. And Nick, he's the unofficial marketing manager. He's everyone that hangs out gets a title. Nick is the unofficial marketing manager, being the chief of one of Melbourne's biggest independent marketing agencies, Hot Glue. If you need any marketing work done, call Nick at Hot Glue. Tell him you. Doesn't do any marketing for us. It's all self-marketing, self-promotion. Just ask us. So I'm looking forward to that very much so, and might have a couple of little surprises for us lined up. Nothing big. Don't get too excited. But a couple of people might have sent me a couple of things to bring down just for us to, chew on, taste on, drink on.
I'm thoroughly looking forward to it. It's a special place. It is somewhere that if you're from Australia and you haven't been there yet, it needs to be on your list. It is. I mean, I've been to King Island, 3 times, and it is easier to get to than King Island. It is for us, we're flying down to Launceston Airport. It's a normal domestic flight. You can just drive up. It's an hour there. There's lots of places to stay. If you're going to think about it, they are very busy over peak. So, start thinking now about even booking for like November, December through next year, and get there because it's an exceptional thing to do.
But as I said, the chaps I was with yesterday, one is headed down there for 36 holes, one on each course, 18 on each course, and the other had been there on every trip except for this one because he went up to Elliston instead. But they were talking just how excited they were, and to put us in perspective of how much of their colleagues that do a lot of golf travel are just talking about Tasmania as like a legitimate global full-on destination with Arm End and 7 Mile Beach and just he I think we know it, but he was just like at pains to say you guys really need to understand how important that piece of golfing architecture is to golf in Australia and the world and what it does. And, I sort of agree. I said, Richard Sattler and basically what he's done for, golf in Australia and really set the standard. And you look at all the golf developments happening now, and we're talking about it off air with the muted merger between, or the whatever it is, I don't know what it's called, but between Huntingdale and Cranbourne, and everyone's trying to lift the standards.
Mm.
You look at Peninsula Kingswood, obviously. Yeah, these guys were blown away with Peninsula Kingswood. They just thought it was world class. And it is, the South course is the fairways were just mown, and it was unbelievable to see that course just presented first up in the morning. It's unbelievable. So they just said it was world class. But, then they went around Yarra Yarra and the work that Doak's done there, proposed work at Commonwealth, the work at Huntingdale by OCM, and then also what's happening with the other courses. And the standard has just lifted. And Australia, very much for these guys from other parts of the world, just look at us in such a high light. And, we should appreciate it, and
definitely.
Yeah, they went to Sydney as well. Anyway, I think all that, what we said is pretty obvious, but nonetheless, we're looking forward to getting to Barnbougle. What do you reckon it's going to be like for Rocket going back to Tassie? Because he hasn't been there for ages and ages and ages.
Well, look, like you said at the start, like I've never met Rocket in the flesh. So I'm assuming from the conversations we've had on here that, he's a very, very good golfer, or at least he was at some point in his career. He hasn't played a lot recently. I think getting back to Tassie will be a bit emotional for him. I think he's probably looking forward to it. It wouldn't shock me if Mar Rocket drives up from Port Arthur. It's probably 2 hours? 2 hours to drive up to Barney. She might be there with biscuits. Shortbreads. I wouldn't have a clue.
You would. Anything can be expected, but if Mar Rocket, if you do, she's the number one ticket holder on the Mile of Golf team.
Definitely.
It wouldn't surprise me if she is up there, and if she is, I will give her a big hug and thank her for every ounce of biscuits that she sent across our way. All right, let's keep going on. Another thing, Magic Mike, I don't know if you weighed in on this conversation. I took a picture at Spring Valley Golf Club. Spring Valley Golf Club have been kind enough to just let me go down there, and there's a couple of little bit of video stuff, pieces that I'm making for Drum and Golf. So they're happy for me to sort of stand beside and set the camera up beside the practice green and just where if I need a space for a backdrop in the background. And Blakey from Golf Rules Questions, the golf ops manager down there, so he's been very helpful. I took a picture last week when I played golf with, not the name drop, but I will congratulate him, Reece Hodge from the Wallabies. Great fellow, Drum and Golf ambassador, so we had a game of golf together. He was very happy in taking my $50, which he won off me and my partner. So it was so funny. He hit this shot, and cool of a cucumber Wallaby. Played in the biggest theatres of rugby union around the world, and he hit this shot, and it was a cracking shot out of the rough. And I looked and I went to say, great shot, and I could see him like holding a fist pump back. It was like he had this little fist pump going. He saw me turn around to look and say good shot, and he sort of pulled the fist pump in. I said, well, you got to give him a fist pump there. No, mate, no, it's all good. But Hodgie, congratulations. He broke 80 for the first time.
Oh, great.
So so first round of golf with the Mile of Golf man, and he breaks 80 for the first time. So I'll put that on the chalkboard as a result for the team.
The Mylog journey.
Yes, exactly right. So congrats, Hodgie. Also going to Barnbougle next week as well, not at the same time as us. But I took a photo. When I was there, and it just so happened that it was, I like taking photos of bunkers and the fingers that go down into the bunkers. Just they attract my eye. There was a rake outside of the bunker on the finger.
Yeah.
And I thought, that stands out. And I posted that picture on Instagram, and I said, rakes in or out. And it was just, I've never had so many people comment on a post. I don't get that many people comment on a post, but never had so many people enter into the discussion on in or out. And the majority were out, in.
Yeah.
But everyone was so descriptive, in the bunker, facing the line of play, placed at the base of the bunker, all of this sort of formal chat. And I'm like, fair enough. But there was a few outs.
Yeah.
And you know who the outs were?
I do. Clates
was out.
Yep.
Thank you, Mike Clayton, for responding. You won't be listening to this, but thank you, Mike. I appreciate your response and taking the effort. So Clates was out. Who else?
That was the one that I saw. I thought he's forgotten more about golf today than I know. So 100%. I didn't comment after that. So
Clates, first one that says out, but either or, but out. Like pretty much I'd say out and out of the line of play. Thank you. Blakey, the guru of golf rules, refereed golf tournaments all around the world, and he said out. It was Spring Valley. They were out there, but he said on tour they have them out.
Yeah.
And then another great friend of the podcast who's playing this weekend at the Qatar Masters, Wade Ormsby. Yep. Wade came in and said, out. I said, well, Wade, what do they have at RA? He said, oh, they're in, of course, but he said, out for me.
Yeah.
And I'm an out guy. And I almost got scared to say because I thought I'd get a backlash of vitriol directed at my way, but I'm an out guy. Put it out over the side where it's out of the way.
Yeah. That's a key. It's got to be out of the way. Like there's some courses that you see that paint the little T where you know where to leave it.
Yeah.
When it's out, I'm comfortable with that. But my answer would always be the long answer you had at the start. It's base of the bunker, lowest point in the line of play, so it's not going to do any damage and you can pick it up and get it out of the way. But look, at the end of the day, I've seen all sorts. I mean, we all have. You know, I saw a place where they had a hole where you put I lifted a little flap and you drop the rake into a hole and then you close the flap over and that's where it lived. And then you pulled it out when you needed it, but probably going a bit far.
Being that it was so commented on, I'm just going to assume that the people listening are going to have some form of opinion and be somewhat interested in hearing us talking about rakes in bunkers, which is, I just took a picture and I thought, I'll say that and whatever.
Yeah.
I just think that I've raked 87.5 thousand extra steps at Peninsula Kingswood since we got these massive, vast bunkers. Yep. And even though we've got several rakes around, there's never one that's near. And you go to the entry point, and I've always got to go right for the rake, left for the ball, rake back one way, rake back the other way, and rake up a few extras. Always rake the extras, people. Rake someone else's because people don't rake bunkers. So rake the extras. And I'll leave it like I'm a greenkeeper. And I don't reckon I've had to rake 35,000 million more steps than I would otherwise, having just walked to the side, picked it up, walked in nearest point, walked out nearest safe
that's
point.
A good point.
Yeah. And I just think that's so natural. And then put the bunker back, put the rake back where it should be.
Yeah.
And then the people that said,
point of entry.
The people that said, it makes the hole look prettier. What looks pretty about a bunker with 6 rakes sitting at the bottom, all skewed about? Because no one puts them back. It doesn't matter whether they're in or out. No one puts them back properly anyway. I'm
trying to think of where I played somewhere in the last month or so. Something in my brain says it was Kerr Lewis, but something also says it wasn't. But they had where the rake sits up in the air, had like a little holder, and you place the rake in it, and the rake sat a foot above the ground, just so that it wouldn't interfere with anything. That looks weird for me. That's for me. That's going too far. Like I get you don't want it in play, but don't make it look like something's landing on the moon. That's a bit weird.
I guess it shows people where it should go back and it keeps it out of the play. But I actually sort of don't mind that. But, the rakes these days, some clubs have great rakes, but they look ugly. The big plastic ones with the double sides, they do a great job. But PK and some other courses that you see, they've got these nice wooden ones with the round bar and the peg tines. Yeah. They look great, but they're a little bit narrow. It's like when you've got a bad rake at home that's not wide enough and you think you need the wide grass rake to get all the leaves into one go instead of several goes. It's a bit like that and you end up... Anyway.
Where's the rake? You'll know because my memory's not there, but where did I play in the last couple of years? And the rake was like, the container that holds the lotto balls that spins around. It's like like a long cylinder and you roll it across and that was the best rake I've ever used. That was so good. It was like flat and long, like a long hot dog, but it had gaps through it.
I reckon it was something like out of your nonna's kitchen, mate. Like that rolls the flour or something,
like an egg beater type thing. And you sort of rolled it through the bunker. I don't remember where I played, but I was like, "This is fantastic. This is taking no effort at all. Not like some of the wooden ones you cop. It's you rake and you're like, that's not helping me at all. Like, is it Oakmont that has the church pews? Which one has the church pews? Yeah,
Oakmont. Yep.
And the rake that they have, I'm pretty sure Paul Sheehan put up a photo off the top of my head, and the rake that's there is made to have massive, massive tongues in the fork. And so when it rakes, you like literally, the ball will almost sit in it. It sits quite weird, but that's the way they want it. They want it to sit like this, and this is the way it's supposed to look and everything else. Those wooden rakes do my head in because it looks terrible. I'm actually more, I know we're going down a rabbit hole of bunker rakes here. I'm a fan. Every time I rake a bunker, and I raked a few on Sunday at 13th Beach, of turning it over and using the flat side to just make sure it's flattened out.
That's what I fall under the part of doing extras. So you rake it with the tines, and there's appropriate place for tines. But the bunker walls should always be used with the smooth part, especially in the sandbelt. The bunker walls are always smooth.
Definitely.
So turn it over and smooth. That is one positive about the wooden rakes, that they do have that round cylinder and then the tines out of it. But then the big ugly ones, the plastic ones with the V's, the thin V's, not the thick V's like both ones. Yeah, they're great, and they have the flat side on as well, and you can just trail it. So it's easy. But so many people, Matt Malika was like very definitive, and he'll be listening to this tomorrow morning. He will listen.
He'll be at the gym, and he won't be happy with you. No.
No, I'm not. No, I'm fine with that. He was very, very definitive, and a couple other people, Steve, the golfing greenkeeper, he was like chiming in. I'm with you. Well said. Oh, exactly as you said it. Couldn't have said it better. Oh well, fair enough. As we were.
As you were.
What's next on the horizon, Mikey boy?
We should quickly run through last week's results and because I know people love listening in, especially if they did well. I get messages from people that did well in the tipping going, you make sure you mention that I did really well this week in the tipping.
I want to give, before we go do well, he is doing much better. And, 3 weeks ago, he was about to jump off the bridge because he wasn't doing so well and have a swim in the Thames River. He's over in London. Ed Hodge, well done. He's moving up the ladder, so good on you, Ed. Stick with it.
He's above me. He's got me. Yeah, he's by a long way. He's at 29.
Ed was going to give up soon, a few weeks ago, but he's back.
Never give up.
Who else? Who else is up there that's jumped up? Phil, bogeys to birdies. He's jumped up a bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, I really shouldn't have reminded Phil to put his picks in because he was the one I was guaranteed to be behind me, and now he's beaten me. So that doesn't help at all.
So Phil's come from back of the pack and getting past the master. So anyway, it's a bit of fun. It was a great idea of yours to have this, and also the support crew up there in Sydney, PK Plays Golf.
PK,
does a wonderful job reminding us on getting the tips in. So great support. Thank you. We'll be listening. So anyway, sorry, go on.
I was going to say Valspar was last week. So what we talked about last week was exactly what happened. So we talked about the fact that these guys are coming off the players and talked about the fact that some are going to be tired and all the data is going to point to these guys going well. The top two in the data were Justin Thomas and Sam Burns, but we're going to go the other way because we're like, these guys are going to be tired and they're not going to go well. So what happened? Sam Burns won and Justin Thomas finished about 5th. So we didn't get the winner. Well, I didn't get the winner, but I can tell you who did get the winner. Last week, that is, not this week, obviously, because we don't know who's got the winner yet. We had 5 people pick Sam Burns. How Good's Golf, Ursus, Lewis H, Ed Hodge, who shot up the board, as you said, and the Shermanator. They all got him. And then the next we had a couple, Jamie Staten and Joe Ptolomeo had Justin Thomas. So T3. So the 2 people we said would go well finished 1st and 3rd, but they zigged and I zagged. That didn't help me at all. For you and I
DJ finished 20-something.
Yeah, DJ was a bit scrappy, and Rocket and I both had Xander. So we both picked up. Xander had a very poor last hole, had finished in a very poor shot for his second shot into 18 and ended up, sculling one across the green and taking double on the last and falling down to T12 from about T7, I want to say. So that cost me $100,000, but probably more importantly cost Xander $100,000 as well. So yeah, look, it wasn't a bad week. It was an interesting end to the tournament. It was a playoff. It was one that I think, again, Sam Burns, we've talked about him, I've definitely talked about him on this podcast for 6 months, saying he's up for a very big year this year, and he's won two or three times in his last 25 starts. So that's a pretty good season, or pretty good, couple of years. And he pinched it from Davis Riley. Davis Riley's probably come out of nowhere, had a very, very, very good tournament. But Sam Burns took it to the playoff and then made a really, really good putt on the second playoff hole, which was the 16th from I think he was just off the green or maybe just on the green, but he would have been 50, 60 feet away and yeah, he was up and about when he got it, and it meant that he went back to back at the Valspar. So he was very, very happy. So happy that he went, I'm taking this week off at the Valero, at the match play, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
As you would if you had that much money kicking into your bank account.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. And the DP World Tour, I didn't catch too much of it, but I did see, I got to about the 69th hole, and what's his name? Is it Jason Norris? Justin Norris? Sean Norris, sorry. There you go, Justin Norris. Sean Norris was a couple behind, and then he just knocked one stiff on the very long par four, drivable par four.
Yep.
And he just knocked it within 10 feet or something like that, and it just flipped it on its head. The guy that was a couple in front, forget who that was. And Mr. Norris took the win, which was I was surprised to see.
Yeah, look, I think I picked him. I definitely bet on him early on when he was playing in South Africa, and he's a good golfer. He's always been knocking on the door, and I think that's his first win. So that's that's great. That's really good for him. I think who was it last year? There's the South African guy that won in a similar sort of tournament, then went over to the States, and 2 weeks later won an event in the US. So you never know. It could be a bit of a leapfrog for him.
It was good to see someone who hasn't won on a big stage win. Qatar Masters this week, and I mentioned a friend of the pod, Wade Ormsby, when he was saying breaks are out for me. I said, when are you off next? And he said tomorrow. So Wade's up there in Qatar.
Yep.
Good luck. Anyone else this week in Qatar?
Qatar's a pretty lean field, as you'd imagine, with the World Golf Championships. A lot of guys are over in the States, and I think a lot of them will be there for, either if they're not based there and they're a remote chance of playing in the Masters, they're not moving, so they've got a month over there. So the headliners this week are Dean Burmester, Artie Arnaud, George Kirksey, Jordan Smith. Jordan Smith's been playing pretty good golf. Justin Harding, Pablo Larrazabal, Ramon Les Langasque. There's not a lot of Marcus Armitage. He's a good follow on Instagram. If anyone, the Bullet, one of the best stories ever on Instagram. If you get a chance to watch it, the Bullet. But yeah, it's a pretty lean field.
Oh well, I look forward to watching a little bit of it. We'll look forward to hopefully Wade can get a start and do well.
Yeah, be good.
So, go on.
No, I was going to say the only other thing I watched in the week just gone by, I watched a little bit of the ladies' LET tour, and Georgia Hall smoked them. Had an exceptional weekend.
Didn't you? What I was watching that. That's what I was watching instead of the men actually. And I took a picture of the rake out of the bunker.
Oh yeah.
But Georgia Hall, and that final round was blowing a hoolie.
Yep.
So
it's weird watching golf there in Saudi because there's nobody there. Like nobody. Like, you're watching the golf and there's 3 people standing on the tee box of the leader on the Sunday on the 10th hole, and you're like, how are they making money? It's like, no, they don't need to make money. It's all just there. The most interesting thing I took away from the whole week, and you might know this, but I didn't know this, and I thought, as I was listening to the commentators, was Georgia Hall. Do you know how she got her name, Georgia?
Yes. She was born on the day that Nick Faldo won his second Masters, or one of the Masters he won.
There's 96 Masters with the infamous 96 Masters. Yeah, and that's why she was called Georgia. I love that. That's fantastic. Maybe one day Sergio's daughter, because Sergio's daughter's named after one of the holes. The year he won the Masters, he had his daughter just after it, and he named his daughter after one of the holes at Augusta. So
What's
maybe I can't remember now.
Can't remember.
It's one of the flowers. That's all I got.
I saw on Instagram Sergio entertaining his children by jumping over them today, and his dog included. So he was having fun with the kids at home, getting a bit of preparatory jumping over the kids training in. Georgia Hall, well done. LET is coming to Australia end of April. I was talking to Gabrielle McDonald today, and she was just reminding herself if I lived in Melbourne and not the Hunter Valley or not up in New South Wales. She was also quite taken aback at the price of rental cars. So her and two other Scottish girls travelling together, Rachel Goodall and the other Scottish lass who was on the LET. I can't remember. But, they're making their plans to come across and play. So they've got the Bonneville Classic on. And then
Bonneville, that's right.
Yeah, and then they go up to play at Coolangatta. It's like a New South Wales Women's Open or something like that. The New South Wales Women's Open Classic, something like that. Sorry, I should know the name. But, she was just saying the three of them are coming across and they were just sorting out all their stuff and they got some accommodation. It's great to see these tournaments when they kick in and people get billeted. Still, that's what we did as kids. And talking to Steph Nah, she was played in Hunter Valley, the Players Series, which was the other weekend. Small world. I don't know if I mentioned this. Small world. She got billeted by a family and she's been billeted with them before. And I saw a picture of her, which the Golf New South Wales put out, and it was Steph. And she had a caddy. I said, I know that fella. It was Mark Hale. Now, you've probably heard me talk about Mark Hale on the podcast a long time ago. He was the guy that played in the New South Wales Open, and all his mates started betting on him, and the market pulled the market to find out what's going on here. There's a plunge on this fellow we've never heard of. Well, Steph Nah, so Mark Hale's one of my junior golf buddies. He was from Branksome, I'm from Cessnock. And anyway, Steph was billeted by the Hale family back in the day, and Mark Hale was caddying for Steph Nah at Cypress Lakes. So small world, but it's a great community, the golf community, and all the families that do put their hand out to billet these professionals that are trying to just make a buck and save a bit of coin and at least have some normality in their life. So if you have billeted the professionals in their events, boys or girls, well done to you. Well done.
Yeah, or the caddies. If you can, the caddies are in the same boat.
That's how I told you before. That's how Wade and I connected when we played golf together. I got home and my dad said, "Oh, Ormsby, his brother stayed with us." So Jordan had stayed in Wade's brother, who was a good golfer in his own right. Had stayed in. I wasn't living at home by then, but he'd stayed in my house in my bed.
There you go.
Wade, your brother's buddy stayed at my house, mate. Anyway, all good.
And before I forget, Sergio's daughter's name is Azalea Adele Garcia. So, in maybe 20 years' time, she'll be winning on the LET Tour and someone else will be saying, "Oh, did you know she was named after when her dad won the Masters?"
Wouldn't that be great if she does? Wouldn't it be great that
that'd be amazing.
The kids of these people that we've grown up with, like looked up to in our adult years as great golfers, produced young future stars. Anyway,
it's something that, being in Australia and following AFL football, Australian rules football, is very unique, but also it's just extremely. It's just, I don't know how to describe it. It's awesome, the fact that I can watch my team, the Bulldogs. Right now, we would have 6 father-sons running around because there's a rule that says if your dad played 100 games, you automatically get to go there if you want to go there and they want you. But if you don't, then you can go into the draft. So to be able to do that, it's great. Having the ability to have, I'm 45. I'm watching the sons of the guys that I watched when I was, a teenager, playing for the same club. And sometimes we're in the same number. It's really special. And you don't obviously get that as much in golf. There's obviously father-sons that go through, and there's going to be a truckload of pressure on Charlie Woods in the next 10, 15 years. But, hopefully he does something great, or any of these guys and girls do something great coming through. But, it is something special when you see them come on and go through from something that their parents have done and led them on to, for sure. Yeah.
Could I just give a couple of other thank yous talking about AFL footy? Just reminded me of a couple of things. How good was it to see
awesome
Sam Doherty?
I'm not a Carlton supporter. I didn't even watch a game, and when I saw the highlights of it, I had chills, had absolute goosebumps. Yeah.
I think we wished Sam the best of luck last week, and it was our wedding anniversary, so we were out seeing Hamilton, but I saw the highlights after the game. And, just to see Sam kick that goal and just to have been through that golfing journey with him, but no other part of the journey, but just his golfing journey since, he was let out of the house. It's just unbelievable. And I, bumped into a couple of his, mates, playing mates, and other people from other clubs, down at the golf club yesterday, and they were all just, how good was it? So it was great. So Sammy, you're a bloody legend, mate. But another thank you to a friend of the podcast and former guest of the podcast. He will return as a guest, Scotty Jamieson. So Scotty, I'm a member of Melbourne City and a proud, almost 10-year member of Melbourne City. So I love going to their games, and I love being the unofficial captain of the Melbourne City golf squad. The consultant, I won't say captain, the consultant for the Melbourne City golf squad. Scotty organised some nice seats for myself and Mike Brown. Mike Brown's been on the podcast before. Mike Brown is out here playing golf in a couple of events, highly ranking amputee events. The Riversdale Cup had a all abilities and amputee section in the Riversdale Cup, which he won. And then he's got the Australian Amputee Open at Century Lakes in the first week of April. So he's out here for that. Obviously, it's nice to be able to take nice people to nice things, and Jamo got us some seats up there with the family and friends of the players, and we're sitting around Roston Griffiths, and who came down and had a chat to us after the game, and know Roston and his wife, and Roston's a keen golfer. I think Mike and he are going to have a game of golf hopefully on Friday. But it was just nice of him to do that, and Mike loved it. He loves football. He's actually Scottish born, English background. I've seen some football, and it was a 1-1 draw, Melbourne City, Melbourne victory. So that was good. Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Jamo, and also thanks Ryan Pappenhausen. Now another big event last Thursday. So we teed up to have a game with Pappy and Mike Brown at Q. So Ryan Pappenhausen, member at Q, Mike's playing out of Q. So we caught up on Friday, and Pappy's a drummer golf ambassador as well. And did you see that? A bit of absolute genius from Ryan Pappenhausen.
No.
So rugby league, obviously he's a star of the NRL.
Yeah.
Melbourne Storm, they get to a 14-0 lead over the Rabbitohs, South Sydney, and then whatever happens, football happens. They got a few sent off into the sin bin. All of a sudden, it's full time, 80 minutes. It's 14 all. Now,
I was going to say, I saw that I think they won by 1 or 2.
One,
but that's all I knew. I didn't know how they got there.
Okay, well, for the Victorians, here's a bit of an NRL education. They have an 80-minute, so 40-minute halves, and it finishes on 80 minutes. There's no overtime or anything like that. It's 80 minutes, done. But there's no draws. They gave up on draws, frustrated the hell out of any fans of clubs having draws. So they went to golden point. So basically, they have like a extra time, and the first point wins the game. And our man Pappy just stepped up. They worked the 3 minutes in, and they just worked the play to the front of the post. They had a bit of a play set up with Munster and Pappenhausen. Munster, also a very good golfer. Pappenhausen one side, Munster the other side. Bang, bang, bang. Pappenhausen gets it. Right foot, left foot, prop, field goal, point, Storm win. 15-14. But do you know how hard it is to drop kick a field goal?
It wouldn't be easy. Look, I used to be able to kick a football like that just from football, but AFL skills. But no, you got to get the height on it and the accuracy, and then it depends on really the distance that you are out as well. So no, it wouldn't be very easy.
Imagining Golden Point with a 13 heavyweights falling down.
That's what I was going to say. Like there's 13 monsters running at me as well. No, that's not going to help.
We played at Q the next day. I think Pappy was still on a high. And Mike Brown was talking about seeing snakes. And our host down there at Q said, oh, well, this is the whole where all the snakes are, but, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, lo and behold, 35 seconds later, he nearly runs over a tiger snake coming across the fairway. But to add a little bit more Australiana to the visitors' delight, not only did he see a tiger snake or a snake for the first time, all of a sudden this eagle, this wedge-tailed eagle, swoops down onto the fairway and grabs the snake and starts beating up on the snake. And then stands a wedge-tailed eagle. I've never seen a wedge-tailed eagle on the golf course.
I think I've seen one like that.
This wedge-tailed eagle just prancing around this snake. It was like David Attenborough. Anyway, I'm sure everyone that's still listening is absolutely enthused by the chat of David Attenborough and everyone else in between. Thanks, Ryan Pappenhausen. You're a star too. Okay, let's talk about the Dell. Let's talk about the Corrales Punta Cana.
We'll do Corrales first, yeah. So Corrales is going to be a very interesting week. I've had more than a few people message me today, listeners, saying, can you tell me what the data lake's saying? Now, the data lake takes a holiday this time of year, this week specifically, because match play is very, very difficult to try and get a lean on. It's literally a lottery. And Corrales and the Dominican Republic's not far away from it. So really it's just about going with your gut. The two that I like, the third and fourth favourites, which is Sahith Theegala, who's been playing very good golf this year. Yeah. But the one that I probably like the most is Adam Svensson, who's the guy who's taken Bryson's caddy on in the last couple of months, playing very good golf as well. So they're both in form. They're the two that I like. Joel Damon's defending champ. He's gone back. He's obviously going to be a good chance as well. And Johnny Vegas is the favourite. But again, it's a secondary event. It's not in the United States. Well, it's not on the mainland. It's not where everyone is, because the big players are all playing over at the Dell Match Play in Austin, Texas. So it is a bit of a different sort of field. But it is one that's going to be probably a bit of a lottery, but not probably so much as the match play.
Okay, well, I've gone with that sort of theme, the lottery sort of theme. Yep. Like I've looked at players who at some stage I was probably going to pick. Yep. And not having any other reason or idea of why or what or when I should or shouldn't pick them. So I'm sort of somewhat of a fan of Aaron Rai. I like Aaron Rai and the way that he came through the same as the Serbia last year from the European Tour. Yep. So I picked Aaron Rai. Not sure what Aaron's form lines are at the moment.
No, so Aaron hasn't played here before. So I've got the data on the recent form and the course form. So he hasn't been here before, but and his last start was 3 weeks ago. He missed the cut, but he's had a couple of 60s, a missed cut, but he did finish sixth about 8 weeks ago in his tournament. So he's the sort of guy that when you're looking at this tournament, you really need to weigh up. People might be like, oh, this guy finished 30th 2 weeks ago. I was like, yeah, he finished 30th, but he finished 30th in an event which had everybody in it. This week doesn't have that. They've gone and got the best players and moved them over here. So a 30th is probably actually worth a top 4 or 5. So he's a great pick. I really like that pick. And he probably ranks up about top 10, for sure. In the odds, I can tell you what he is. Aaron Rai is 40-1. So he's sitting about 15th overall. But again, it's difficult because you got a few winners here. Joel Damon won last year, as we said. Bryce Garnett. Some of the names I'm going to talk about, people won't remember. Nate Lashley's been playing well. He won in 2017. 2019, GMAC was there. He's back again. Hudson Swarford won it 2020. So you got a few guys that have won it before. You got some guys that have probably gone okay here before. Bryce Garnett, as much as I say, no one's going to know who that is. He finished 9th last year. He did win it in 2018. Graham McDowell was 4th last year, won it in 2019. Kramer Hickok, another guy who could go well this week. He's had 3 starts here for a 21st and a 10th. So you'll see it's a bit of a course horse place. Like you want someone who's been here before, in my opinion, or at least gets a handle on what the course is like. But again, you're guessing. It's really, you're better off just going with your gut and saying exactly what you said. I like this guy. He's shown a bit of form. I'm going with that. That's the best way to make your pick this week at Corrales.
Well, we won't talk about our tips just yet for the Dell, but let's go through the brackets and
yes.
Can we come up with a winner? Can we agree on a winner?
We won't go super in depth, but we will click through as quick as we can. But I think we can do this quick enough to get. I'll be interested to see where it ends.
Okay.
So bracket 1 is Rahm, Reed, Cameron Young, and Sebastian Munoz.
Now, so one winner out of those 4 players.
Only one gets through.
Rahm,
I agree. Next bracket: Koepka, Lowry, Harold Varner III, and EVR Eric Van Rooyen.
Lowry.
I agree as well. Next group: Bryson, Gooch, Westwood, and Bland. I'm going to have a little asterisk here that says I think a lot of people, including the no laying up guys, have been talking about. I don't trust Bryson to play this out. I feel like coming off an injury, it wouldn't shock me for him to play 1 or 2 games and then withdraw. So I don't like him to move on from this bracket. My bet is either Gooch, Westwood, or Bland, and I'm probably leaning Gooch or Westwood.
I'd say Westy.
Done. Next group, DJ, Max Homer, Matthew Wolf, or Mackenzie Hughes, the man who makes more putts from 50-plus feet than anyone you've ever seen.
Did he hit fairways?
I think he's okay with the fairways. He's not a great putter, but he just seems to make bombs.
Yeah, that can unnerve you in match play.
Correct, and you're thinking about it the right way, because I don't think they play a lot of match play in the States. Playing golf as normal people golf. So I want to look at guys that are, one, good at match play, and if you want to know anyone's stats, I've got them all here as well, how they've gone in this tournament previously. But also, you want someone who's going to be able to have highs and lows, right? Because someone's going to have a bogey and you have a bogey, that's not a problem. But if you can make eagles, that's great. If you're going to make a triple but someone else is not there, well, you're only losing 1 hole. So it's not the same as normal golf.
There's nothing worse than you being in close and then someone being in 3-putt territory and you sort of almost half chalky in a plus, and then they drain it. And then seen so many times when
Swings.
that person is in close, they drain it, and then he's got a 2-putt for the half, and all of a sudden it becomes a 3-putt for the loss because they go, oh, geez.
Exactly.
Anyway, back on track.
So I've got DJ, Homer, Wolf, or Mackenzie Hughes. I don't like Wolf. I'm not sold on Hughes. Homer, maybe. DJ, not sure. I think it's one of the top 2.
Homer
it is. Scotty Scheffler, Matty Fitz, Tommy Fleetwood, Ian Poulter.
Oh, good bracket.
It is a good bracket. You got a Texan in Scheffler, Fitzy, Fleetwood, and Poulter. All 3 of those boys have played a lot of match play, and Poulter's probably one of the best.
Fitzy's got some playing form.
He's got some great form for sure. Yeah.
Dear. Oh, I don't know. Fitzmagic for me.
Yeah, I like that. Billy Horschel, defending champ, Thomas Peters, Tom Hoagie, and Minwoo. Minwoo's a rank outsider this week. He's about 200 to 1.
Yeah.
I'm saying he can't win, but I'm just saying he's 200 to 1.
I don't know. Not that I'm the biggest Billy Horschel fan, but I'll stick with Billy Horschel.
No, I agree. Texan loves match play, won it before, should get through the first group. Tyrrell Hatton, Daniel Berger, Sanyol Kim, and Christian Bezuidenhout.
What's a Berger v. Bezuidenhout?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't love Hatton here. People do, but I don't love him. I would actually be with you. I think Berger or Bezuidenhout to be one of the 2 I'd pick.
I'm going to go Berger.
Berger. Cantlay, Im, Power, Seamus, or Keith Killer Mitchell?
Well, the person that I picked is in this group.
Really?
Cantlay.
Cantlay.
For me, I didn't study the form too much. That's you, and we don't converse about this, but I just figured I looked and thought I'm going to have to pick Cantlay at some stage this year.
Yep.
Don't know much about what's going on with him, but so
he's perhaps certainly not the worst pick. He'd probably be in the top 2 or 3 favourites. Colin Morikawa, Jason Kokrak, Sergio Garcia, or Bobby Mack?
Oh, this is like my favourite grouping.
It is bar Kokrak. Kokrak's playing terrible golf. The other 3 could definitely take it. And Kokrak will win this.
Sergio, Bobby, Murray.
Yep.
There.
Sergio. Answer, Webb Simpson, Brian Harmon, Bubba Watson.
I can't go past Webb.
Webb it is. I think I've taken Answer this week as one of my picks. Usti, Casey, Connors, Noren. Bit of a weird group, this one.
Casey.
Schauffele, Finau, Lucas Herbert or Kanaya.
Who?
Kanaya from Japan. Tanaki Kanaya, I think it is.
How do you spell it?
Kanaya.
Oh, okay.
Herbie's Schauffele is a mad favourite here. I know. Yep. I'm not telling you to pick Herbie for the sake of picking Herbie. I think Herbie can go well this week. I think, as we've talked about before, he's a sort of person that will thrive in the one-on-one match play, in my opinion. He's the sort of person that feels like he can beat anybody. He's played this sort of golf before and a lot of it. I could see him getting outside of Finau, outside of Schauffele, it's a weak-ish group. You know, Finau's not playing well. Kanaya's not exactly on fire. I wouldn't be shocked for Herbie to get out of this group.
Oh, I'd probably never go on in match play with Finau. So I'm going to go Herbie. Oh yeah, I can't not back the young man. Love him.
Done. JT, Kisner, Leishman, List, tough group.
Yeah, JT, Kisner, Leishman. Oh,
Leish. I had a very small bet on Leish to win the Masters today. Jordan Spieth, Adam Scott, Justin Rose, Keegan Bradley. Another tough one. The Texan, Adam Scott's playing good golf. Justin Rose is not playing good golf. Keegan Bradley is playing good golf, but broke my heart last week.
JT.
No, Spieth, you mean?
Oh, Spieth, sorry. No, Spieth.
I knew you meant. Neiman, Henley, McNeely.
Neiman,
Hovland, Zalatoris, Tringali, or Straka. When you talk about a bloke you're going to make putt out all day, Will Zalatoris is on that list of blokes. 2 feet, you can make that. You can putt.
I'm putting you on Zalatoris watch, and you're going to record every one of those.
I will. I've got. It's not on Fox this week, so it'll be. I don't think it is anyway. It'll be on Golf TV, which I do have. So I will keep you updated.
Did you say Hovland, Zalatoris, and Hurt?
Hovland, Zalatoris, Cam Tringali, and Sepp Straka.
Hovland has to be.
Hovland, done. Right, we're going to quickly click through. Now we've got Rahm v. Lowry.
Shane.
Westwood v. Homer.
Westy.
Fitzy v. Horschel.
Horschel.
Berger v. Cantlay.
Cantlay.
Sergio v. Webb.
Sergio.
Casey v. Herbie.
Herbie.
Leach v. Spieth.
Spieth.
Neiman v. Hovland.
Hovland.
Now we're getting to the tight end of it. Lowry v. Westwood. That'll be a great game.
Shane.
Oh, we've got Horschel v. Cantlay. Another good game.
Cantlay.
Sergio v. Herbie. That'd be a great game as well, I reckon.
That would be imagine if that
came
bit
of fire there.
No, well, it's got to be a Cantlay versus Herbie finish, isn't it?
That's it. Could be close. Herbie, okay. Leishman v. Spieth. Sorry. Spieth v. Hovland.
Hovland.
Okay, so now we've got Lowry v. Cantlay.
I didn't know I picked Cantlay. I'm Lowry.
Lowry. Herbie v. Hovland.
Hovland.
Okay, so now for the championship game, you've got Lowry versus Hovland. Who wins?
Lowry.
Lowry's the man. There you go. His face just came up. And for the third place playoff, you've got Cantlay v. Herbie. I think Herbie wins that. I think Cantlay, by that point, he's like, this is the third place. I don't care at all. I'm thinking Masters. I'm over this. There you go.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, let's see. Let's see.
I'll save a picture and we'll see how we went.
That was fun, Mike. Thanks for doing that.
It's good. It's quick. If anyone is interested, well, you're going to need to do it probably in the next hour before they tee off, which you're not going to hear this. But, Dell and the PGA Tour does a very good job of doing this because they do go mad in the US for their March Madness with the basketball, the college basketball brackets. They do set up the same sort of thing, so you can actually click through yourself and do exactly what we just did them. Maybe next year we'll do the same thing and set up our own little group and see how everybody goes. But I've done one. I can guarantee you I won't get if there's whatever it is, 16 people that come through out of the group stage. If I get 5, I'll be wrapped. It's pretty difficult to do.
Okay.
But you've taken so overall you've taken Burger, was it?
No, Cantlay.
Cantlay. So he's around $23. I've and ahed and tossed and turned on this one. And in the end I've gone with Abe Answer. Abe Answer was my pick. Another, stocky little bloke, lives in San Antonio, not far away from Austin. It's about 2-hour drive, I think, up the road. I have driven that road between the two.
Did you see the video of Abe, Eric, and one of the NASCAR drivers going around the circuit, the Americas?
I didn't see the video. I saw him driving the ball down the straight, but that was it.
Yeah, they did a hot lap, and it was. If you've ever done a hot lap in a car with a race car driver, it's one of the greatest experiences you'll ever have. And it's always so funny because you're sitting there gripping on for dear life, and they're drifting car sideways, and is going as fast as they can, and just having a normal conversation with you. It was a bit like that. But it's good. It's good to see Eric in the background, and good to see Aussie Abe at the front there getting
That's
some
it,
fun.
Aussie Abe.
All right, mate. Well, this time next week, I'm actually not sure what's going to happen podcast-wise next week. If we do a little live recording, or I don't know, not live, but the three of us together, we should.
I'll get I think it's Valero next week in Texas. So I'll run the numbers for that. So I'll have the picks ready to go. But I think we'll probably record either.
Maybe we have to do Tuesday.
Might be Tuesday, or we can do it down there. It's up to you.
Well, I just don't know how to do it. Don't know how to do it down there.
Oh,
I might be internet. I might be three alcohol-free beers deep by this time.
Well, you'll be dealing with me and Rocket having a drink, and yourself and Doc Smith just trying to corral us, and that's not a pun to this week's event.
So what's the plan? So Wednesday night is not on the property. Wednesday night off property.
Wednesday night we're in Bridport for the night.
Bridport.
Yeah,
yep.
We get down straight out of the airport and straight down there and ready to go. So we're on the first tee at Dunes. I think it's about 8 a.m. on Thursday morning. Have some lunch and then off to Boogle Run, and then we'll probably talk ourselves into heading back to Dunes to play another one until dark, and then dinner at Dunes, and then get up the next day and do Lost Farm and Boogle Run again, then probably Lost Farm again, then out.
So dinner is at the Dunes, so the restaurant up?
No, it's Lost Farm restaurant's booked out, but it's a very busy time of year. They're flat out. So we're having dinner over where we had lunch last time on the last day.
Okay, so and we're staying on the Thursday night. We're staying over there.
No, we're staying back over. So it'll be a little mini bus ride back over to Lost Farm.
Okay, so staying at Lost Farm.
Yep.
Dinner at the Dunes.
Yep.
Right. Gotcha. Either way, just for those people that haven't been, they've got two sides of the property, two levels of accommodation, two different places that you can eat. They've got sort of a clubhouse over at Barnbougle Dunes, and that's very, what would you say, clubhouse type food, so burgers and steaks and that sort of thing. Got Richard's lovely wine cellars over there you can look at. Great staff over there, but it's very much a clubhouse. Then over at Lost Farm, they've got, what would you call that restaurant? A little bit more, is it fine dining?
A bit more fine dining.
Yeah, sort of a la carte menu. Yeah, it's just a beautiful
view back over the water.
I might have to go over there and take a photo, I think. We'll see.
We'll be there because
we'll be there. Yeah,
Boogle Run. Yeah, definitely.
Very good. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you. We're on the same flight, aren't we?
We are.
You booked it, that's right.
Yeah, Wednesday afternoon.
Well, it's going to be exciting. I look forward to that. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for listening to the Rakes in or Rakes Out discussion. I just thought that was a bit of fun. And but we will see you next week. Get ready for some inbound. If you don't follow Mike on Instagram, you can get him at what's your Instagram handle again, Mike?
Just Mike_Caridi. That's it.
Caridi. That's how you spell Caridi. Myself at ross.flanagan.golf. That's FLANNIGAN. If you want to spell Flanagan, one of the many Irish ways that they spell it. And Rocket, this is Rocket No Insta. You can get him on Twitter, where he talks all topics over there.
Rodney Heron. Yep.
Rodney Heron. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next week from Barnbougle Dunes and the whole Barnbougle team. Thank you for having us, and we'll see you then.